Hello chaps, Martin's Shave Tests here. It's March, it's the 7th. Spring is on the way. It's actually sprung here already. Anyway, what I want to do today is a little experiment. This morning I worked quite hard on this beautiful little Swedish razor. It's an Eric Anton Berg from Eckelstuna. It's got the lovely little stamping on it. I got it from a very, very, very nice chap from James, Sustainer Shaves, and even he mentioned it wasn't particularly good at edge, particularly on the heel area. Also, there was a few scratches, a little bit of corrosion marks, so I thought, okay, I'll do it up in my workshop. I did put a little video on a couple of the groups of me grinding away. In case you're interested, I actually use this very fine German watchmaker's grinding compound, which is a dry powder, and I use it on these fine little mops. Anyway, that's another story. So, by working on this morning and giving it a good cleaning and polishing and grinding, it has destroyed the edge. Just to prove it, here's the sacrificial tomato, and oh look, it's completely and utterly dead. That's a very dead edge. Anyway, what I thought today, I just watched Gary Hayward, my good friend Gary's wonderful video, and I thought what I'd try and do is to set the bevel on this lovely little Coticule. So we've got an Ardennes Coticule here, which I think, as it's quite a small stone and this is quite a small razor, the razor's only a 4/8, and so I thought possibly we could get away with setting the bevel and doing a proper restoration shave afterwards. Anyway, here we go. There's the fairly heavy slurry. This is as it's been restored by me and it had been polished up before me, I'm not going to bother taping the spine. What I will do is my usual rotary strokes, and already, look at that, already the slurry is starting to go grey. This is a very nice Coticule. It's got the usual little manganese lines in it. They'll last a lifetime, but I'm always slightly worried by using a Coticule like this. If it ever gets out of true, I don't really want to put a diamond plate on it to true it up. But as it's quite a small stone, probably won't need to. Anyway, that's a pretty well coloured, look at that. That's a pretty well coloured slurry already. So we're obviously taking steel off. The acid test will be to try it on the little tomato and on the thumbnail. But I think we've got a few more strokes to do yet, because this was, via the buffing process, completely killed the edge. Anyway, that's now quite a nice grey slurry. I'll try it on the nail. Yeah, on the nose it's very close, and on the heel nothing at all. So let's put a bit of water on it. Tiny bit of spray. I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on the heel. I don't think it's going to take a tremendous amount of work. These beautiful little Eckelstuna Swedish razors have got a very, very good grind on them. They're already quite a thin grind, and by doing this I don't think we've got an awful lot more to remove. But bear with me, chaps. You can hear it cutting very nicely, actually. Isn't that a lovely sound? Far more gentle than a coarse synthetic stone. So if anybody's thinking of using Coticules, some people do struggle with them. I found I'm pretty lucky. Well, you know, I've honed quite a few razors using the usual synthetic stones, and I've even got a few strange natural stones yet to use. But on the whole, for ease, I would say a little Coticule takes some beating. However, perhaps I should have actually gone onto a synthetic first, just to set the bevel. Let's try now. See how that feels. Ah! Now it's gripping. Yeah, that's fine in the middle, but the heel, no. Gonna have to do some more work. Put a tiny bit more water on. Put a little bit more effort onto the heel. Also, you can tell by the grind, it's more shallow on the heel. So I rather think over the years, that's where I believe the corrosion on this particular razor had been heaviest. And so obviously, I think it needs a little more steel to be removed. I like the holding in one hand process. If you want to remove massive amounts of steel, if you're setting a bevel, then obviously a bigger stone and a two-handed method is probably best. But that's going to do very nicely, I'm sure of it. I'm going to angle towards the heel, just to put a little bit of extra pressure on. What a nice dark slurry. They're amazing stones. The little garnets are obviously cutting very nicely. I think this is going to be a very, very nice little razor. It slightly let me down on a shave I did the other day against a another 4/8 Echostunner razor. That was a Helgestrand, and that really was cutting very, very nicely. This one was okay, it's just it wasn't as good, and the heel area wasn't very good. So let's try. Not that I use the heel particularly. It's not my favourite part. I'm going to put a bit more slurry on. Of course, we're slightly running out of slurry, and I really do want to take some metal off. This is purely experiment on my part. For goodness sake, don't take this as being a serious indicator. But that's a slightly thicker slurry, which of course refreshes the grinding process. But it could be that the heel on this particular razor, as I couldn't get it sharp in the first place on my shave, it could be it does need quite a lot more. I'm also now angling the nose, because the nose has got a very cute upturn to it, which means it does need a little bit of extra work. But the centre of this blade is already there, it's bevel set. But I'd like to be able to get as good on the heel. But I think most people find the heels to be, well, not as important. But certainly the nose of a razor is very, very important. The toe, rather. Heel and toe. Let's try it. Yeah, it's there. Ha ha! Look at that. Bit of fresh slurry. Yeah. So now we can cut down and reduce the Delicate method and reduce the slurry. So that's a very, very quick way of setting your bevel. That's now a little bit of a weaker slurry. I want to do a little bit more, just to make sure that this bevel has been set. Normally on a larger razor I would go probably, I don't know, 3K, 5K, 8K, then onto one of these fine natural stones. But I've been so surprised, pleasantly surprised, with a Coticule, particularly this little Coticule. You don't need to. You can go from bevel set all the way through to finish. That's probably enough. Let's try the old test on the nail. Oh my goodness me. Oh, that is sharp. Now for the sacrificial tomato. If you remember just now, you could rub and rub and rub, nothing would happen. Needs a little bit more on the heel still. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. No, the center's perfect. I need a little tiny bit more on this pointy part. The toe is a strange little upturned, sneaky toe. So I think we'll give that just a little bit more effort. This is just a medium slurry, so, you know, I'm trying to keep my eye on the phone and what I'm doing. Do excuse the strange maneuverings. Still plenty of water there, as you can see. I want a little bit more on this heel. It's slightly annoying me now because it was good just now. In fact, it was extraordinarily sharp on my nail, because I find the tomato test is by far the more accurate. I was doing rotary strokes because a rotary stroke covers more area of the stone, whereas these X strokes don't. Yep. I'd say it's there. The very dodgy farthest end of the heel isn't perfect. I don't care. Let's try the toe. Yep. Obviously we know the center was good. It's not. It's still giving. Nope. Little sod. Right. A little bit more slurry. I would like to think I can get this heel perfect. We'll soon find out. Nice thick slurry again. I'm only now working the heel. Center of this blade is perfection. So is the toe. The toe, I was surprised. That came up very, very easily. But I would like to think that my efforts aren't wasted on this heel. Not that I use the heel. I think most of us are really the center of the blade and the toe. Odd. I think there might be a very slight grimace on the heel, which of course I'm now trying to work out the wrong way. I should have gone onto a coarse stone first, perhaps. Let's just see what happens now. Sorry to be so long, chaps. I should have had this done and finished by now. Oh my God. Oh, that is sharp. When it grabs that hard on your nail, you're not far off. Let's try again. Oh, that's going to do. Yep. Yeah, I think we can now work to a slightly lighter slurry. So yeah, being a very slightly smiley blade, the heel has been a little bit reticent, but it's fine now. I mean, it's like 99% good. And as it's such a small, delicate little blade, who's going to be using the heel? Not me. Right, time now to get rid of some of that. Wash off some of the slurry. And I'm going to wash off most of the slurry. You can see now, there's a very slight amount of slurry left. Now that feels good. It's not cutting half as hard. I think it won't be long before we can go straight onto water. Yep. Try it again on the nail. Oh my god. Ooh, ooh. Oh, that is sharp. Tomato. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's cutting very well, but it's cutting better in the centre and at the toe. The heel's still not right. I think this might be the fact that the angle of the blade is now quite awkward to get at. It's being a slightly smiley blade. I'm not going to worry too much. It's had many owners and many years of use, and it has in its day been quite rusted, all of which I've got out. There's now no, well, hardly any marks at all. Let's just see if I've got it right this time. Yep, feels good. Yeah, that's going to do. That is going to do. Right. So now we'll do the final stage, and then I'll leave you all in peace. Hardly any slurry on there at all. Just very pale. Virtually water. And I think a few more on this very weak, very weak slurry, and we'll be ready. A lovely little blade though. I really enjoyed this. I just hope I'm doing it right, because I want to shave with it. My preference is for much larger blades, but Swedish steel is such high quality steel. Very hard. It's sort of course what the famous Japanese razor makers also used. I know Takahagami and all the rest of it is just the terms they use, but basically most of the Japanese razors, because they hadn't got huge amounts of natural quality iron ore themselves, and so Swedish iron ore is of course world renowned. I think now we're ready to go onto water. So let's go to water. There's no slurry on this stone now. Just water. And hopefully it'll start gripping. Starting. Now under running water. Oh yeah, baby. That's grippy. That's sticky. A few more of these and we're done. What an amazing difference it makes going from a slurry on a Coticule to running water. I can't tell you how much that's gripping. That's amazing. So I reckon a few more like this, and I'm going to give it a test. So chaps, the next stage after this will be giving it a hanging hair test after I've stropped it. And I shall strop it very, very carefully, give it a hanging hair test, and if I'm not entirely happy with it, I'm going to give it a nice go on the chromium oxide, the green Puma chromium oxide on my nice strop upstairs, a canvasy typey stroppy. It's a linen flax from the wonderful Gary, and for touching up and improving an edge, I'd seriously say Crocs is extremely good. Anyway, chaps, I think that'll do, don't you? There we have it. One, whoa, blissfully sharp blade. Just one more test. Oh, yep. That's ready. So it's going to be stropped upstairs, hanging hair test, and that's all for now. Hopefully next time, chaps, you'll see me shave with it. So thanks for watching, and thanks to any new subscribers. You must be mad, but thank you anyway.